All right. Good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to what is this episode 6? I think of the upcoming retro podcast. I am one of the hosts, Video Game Voter, joined by my other co-hosts. Introduce yourselves.
Hi,
Go
I'm
ahead, AK.
AK Games. I never know which way to go.
Yeah, I think I should have just pointed it out in that direction. And who do we have? Who else do we have in the building besides Black Ranger Hip Hopping in a second? Mr. Rec
Uh,
Wizard.
yeah, I'm Wrecked Wizard. And yeah, I retro gaming YouTuber, content creator, TikToker, all that good stuff. So yeah, that's me. Welcome in, everybody.
Yes, welcome to the podcast. So we got a interesting, not interesting episode, but kind of like a bittersweet episode. This past week we had some shutting downs of some things that were pretty big in the gaming community for quite some time. We had the closing of the Xbox 360 store, and we also had the closing down of Game Informer magazine, which I think has been in rotation for like over 30 years. So that's definitely a pillar. GameStop bought them. I don't know how long ago it was, but um they tried to keep it going. And a lot of like physical magazines have just been going, strictly to online reading and things like that. So start off with AK Games, just to hear your thoughts. Let's talk about the 360 store closing first.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I never really was a big 360 fan. I know it's a good console, but I just never got it. I had the original Xbox. But I mean, it's sad. I think it was a favorite for a lot of people. So, I mean, I think it's just a sign of the times. I think all consoles, eventually come to this phase. I know I've been seeing it happen multiple times with like PlayStation and their stuff and stuff like that. And it's like, it's sad, but I mean, they do have to, move on and put their energy towards newer things, unfortunately. I mean, there's still ways to, get Xbox 360 games. It's just probably going to be not as easy as, just going on there and grabbing them. You're just going to have to find them now.
Exactly. Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Mr. Rec Wizard, what are your thoughts? You were a big Xbox fan?
Oh yeah, let me just show you this bad boy right here. Boom, baby. This is my very first Xbox 360 I ever owned. This was mine and my brother's. We got this Christmas morning, uh, the year Halo 3 released. Got it signed by Jen Taylor, the voice of Cortana, and the voice of Stephen Downes, the voice of Master Chief. So I've held on to it all these years. And yeah, I'm a huge Xbox 360 fan, huge Xbox fan in general. Um, have been since the original. And yeah, it's definitely sad to see the store close down. I get it. It's been almost 20 years. It's been 19 years since the store opened. And it's going to happen, right? The PS3 will be shortly right behind it because they were going to close the PS3 store over a year ago, and
Right.
they got a lot of backlash for that, and a lot of people were like not wanting that to happen, so they changed their minds. But it's going to happen. They're not going to keep the PlayStation 3 store open forever. And so the 360, I mean, things like this are going to happen. It's going to happen to the PS4 one day. It's going to happen to the Xbox One day. Well, maybe not the Xbox One. It's all one ecosystem now. But, it is sad, man, because I just have so many fond memories of the Xbox 360 with my little brother playing Call of Duty, Halo 3. The first time I played, Oblivion and Skyrim were on the Xbox 360, and that's my favorite franchise of all time. Fable, Gears of War, like, dude, so many good memories. And the Xbox 360 revolutionized online gaming on consoles. Like, yes, we had online gaming, technically on the Dreamcast, and you had it on the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube and the original Xbox. But though, online gaming on a console back then, it was just it was in its infancy. It wasn't great. The 360 really perfected it with Xbox Live, and there were just so many good games, so many good memories. It's sad to see it happen, but it was
Yeah.
bound to happen. But
Yeah.
you know, but what does that mean? I think for collectors now too, as well.
Yeah. So as far as my thoughts on it, it's like I'm a physical collector, so it didn't matter to me. To be honest with you, I'm sure some people were upset because they had already gone digital and stuff like that and purchased the games digitally. But as far as I'm concerned, like you know, I guess in essence, it's a signs of the times moving forward. But I mean, it's been like 20 years, so it's been around for a long time. It's just I don't think it's a big of deal as like Game Informer closing down, just because like Xbox 360 is still around. It's not like gone. You know what I mean? So it's just you can't buy stuff in an online store. I don't know how many people are still doing that, especially with Game Pass.
Yeah.
I don't see. Yeah, Game Pass is loaded with a lot of like older games. So
Yeah, I mean, I think just like you said, it's good for collectors. That's why I still buy physical games. Like, I will never stop buying physical games as long as they're making them. I will still buy physical games, and I will ride or die for that. Like, yeah, I will like buy some games like
Mhm.
through like just online and stuff, and that's just for convenience. Like, and sometimes they have sales and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
if it's a big game that I know I'm gonna like, and it's gonna be released, like for instance, God of War Ragnarok, like. I was so hyped for that game. Like I pre-ordered it and stuff like that. I knew I would love that game, so I made sure to buy the physical edition and not just buy it
Right.
online. You know, so
Yeah.
I think it's a sign of the times.
Yeah,
And
I think it's not so much because I mean, how many people were really buying digital games on the Xbox 360 store in 2024? Probably not many. I think it was more of it kind of is just a symbol type thing, like a symbolism kind of thing. It's like the end of an era, right? Like the 360 is almost 20 years old. The nostalgia behind that console for so many people. I think it's just the idea of it closing is just like a final goodbye, I guess, to the 360. Because you can play a lot of these games on Xbox One and Series X and on Game Pass, but there's a lot that you can't. There's a lot that aren't backwards compatible. And it's just, I think it's more of just a symbolism kind of thing of like, oh man, the store's closing down, that era, that book is closed and we're moving on. And for us, around our age that grew up, for me, the 6th and 7th generation were huge for me. That was my high school years with all my friends, and it was just, now it's like, man, I feel old. It's like now those consoles are moving into the retro thing because they're 20 years old. Like, to say that the Wii and the PS3 and the Xbox 360 are 20 years old, that's nuts. That's nuts. It's crazy because it feels like yesterday I was playing Wii bowling and playing Halo 3 with my brother, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and it's over,
Yeah.
it's gone, it's done. And it's just kind of sad, man. But it like you said, it's time, bound to happen. Nobody's buying games on there no more like that, And
Yeah.
all these videos I saw from YouTubers, like games you should buy on the store before it closes, and it's like, I didn't like rush to go buy these games because I'm like, number one, I'm a physical collector, but like I'm kind of looking at it like, well, if you didn't buy these games digitally, I think the only thing that really would have mattered to me, but I didn't pay that much attention, is like maybe I would have wanted to buy some DLC for certain games that I already own physically, right? Because you can't buy DLC anymore either, right? So like if I have a ton of 360 games physically, and like maybe there's like one that like I start playing and I'm like, oh man, that would have been really cool to get the the DLC for that because it's like more missions or more whatever, and now I can't, like I'm stuck with the base version. That's why, like, when it comes to collecting, you guys, if there are games that like are like either special editions or certain like platinum hits that have the DLC built into them, you watch the price go up on those, because the only way to get that DLC now is going to be the games that had it included on special discs or certain discs. Like those ones are going to start to climb in price. Like the Naughty Bear Gold Edition has all the Naughty Bear DLC on it. That game is it's already going up. It's like a $60 game already.
Well, that's if because I know some of them like included codes, right? There was like a portion that you had to download. but some of
Yeah.
it is on disc. So I guess
Yeah.
that's definitely going to play a role in as far as collecting. Rick was touched on that. I think that could be a segue into that question. I want to know what you guys' thoughts on its impact on retro video game collecting. We'll start with AK.
I mean, I think it's just gonna enhance it. I think more people are gonna just be out looking for Xbox 360 games. I think that's the only way it can go, especially if they still want to play it and
Right.
find more games for it. I think that's the only way to go. Um, and maybe it will start like bridging the gap between people who aren't collectors. Maybe they'll start collecting. Who knows? And
Yeah.
maybe it'll, like, while they're looking for Xbox 360 games, maybe they can also start looking into like the PlayStation games and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good segue into collecting if people want
Absolutely.
to start.
Yep. What do you think about that, Rick? Like, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but with the 360 store closing down, how do you think that's going to impact retro gaming collecting?
The games are going to go up in price. They already started, but it's going to do what I think the PlayStation 3 did when everybody thought the store was closing. It might be a little different though because the store didn't actually close, but prices are going to get stupid, and then they're going to taper off and come back to reality.
Yeah.
That's how I feel it's going to go. But there are already games that are astronomically high that like literally went from like a $10 or $20 game to like a $200 game. Like it seems like within a year. So now that the store is closed, we'll see what happens. Everybody thought that like the Wii U and the 3DS library was going to become insane. And yeah, it went up a little bit, but overall it didn't really go that crazy.
3DS not yet, but the Wii U like doubled.
Yeah, but
Like,
but the Wii U's come down though. Like now that the hype behind it is gone. Like, oh my God, you got to get these games right now, and everybody's buying them, and the freaking price skyrockets. And then the store has been closed for over a year, and now, yeah, there are some games that are going to stay high. That's just the reality of like any console. But the prices have come back down to more normal levels. Like, look at Devil's Third. Devil's Third was like a $400 or $500 game. Now it's like $250. Right?
Yeah,
like,
but it started at 150.
Right, but still, like overall, like the whole
Yeah.
collection has come down. Like, I don't know. The market's going to fluctuate. It just all depends. But I do think that there are certain games people should keep an eye on, for sure. I mean, if you're a collector, it's always a good rule of thumb to keep an eye on horror games and RPGs that were on the console, especially because the 360 wasn't necessarily known for its RPGs, because the Xbox has never really been known for their RPGs. But I do have a couple games that, if you're interested, I can breeze through them real quick to, just kind of show you guys the ones I'm thinking could potentially shoot up in price. Games like Blue Dragon, Akira Toriyama,
I've
rest
heard of
in
that.
peace. You have Resonance of Fate, which is another big one that was a good RPG. This one is such an underrated RPG right here that was created by some of the members who made Final Fantasy, but it was made from Microsoft Game Studios. So this is a Microsoft game. You can only get this on Xbox, which is Lost Odyssey. Alice Madness Returns, like that game's gonna get pricey. Naughty Bear is gonna get pricey. 99 Nights 2 has already shot up in price. Records of Agarest War and Records of Agarest War 0. Like, dude, I got a sealed copy of Lollipop Chainsaw. Like, Magna Carta 2, another RPG on the console. Like, a lot of these people haven't even heard of, because again, Xbox wasn't really known for their RPGs. And then Enchanted Arms, and there's other ones, like you'll never see games like Halo, right, or Gears of War shoot up in price. They just won't. Like Fable's not going to, the Elder Scrolls games aren't going to. But like random obscure horror games and RPGs, if you're a collector, always keep an eye out for those. Like, just my opinion. I think that is definitely something to look out for, or games that include the DLC.
All right. Yeah. So with that being said, I do have a question. It's going to be like a double question. I'm trying to think if I should just split them up into two. But do you guys think that when these stores have their closing, does it create a false sense of FOMO, fear of missing out?
When the stores close, it creates
When
FOMO.
when
Oh,
any of the
yeah.
digital store closes, like,
Oh, yeah.
I'll give my opinion first before I pass it off to y'all. I definitely think it's completely false. I don't know why people think like, oh, I gotta get it now, unless it's like super rare. I don't know if it's anything on 360 that's like, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there's anything that's not obtainable. That or the PS3. Like, I don't know, like, if there's some games that are like extremely difficult to find. Like, not saying it's not available. Yes, it may be expensive, but I'm talking about like almost like Kuon level. You can't really find it like that. You just see a few on hand, not even on hand, but wherever. And also, I think it depends on location too, because some people aren't they don't have a lot of like retro store, mom and pop stores and stuff like that in their area where they can actually buy retro. So I think that plays a role. But I also feel like I don't know why people just go into this complete panic, because what I realized too is a lot of online stores, they do have sales, but you're not going to get a better sale than what you're going to find at GameStop, or if you go to like a flea market or something like that. Like, so I just think people just kind of, overdo it and think like, yeah, I mean, I guess for certain people it is a possibility that you may never see it again,
Mhm.
But I don't know. What do you think, AK?
I mean, I definitely think it gets people to want to take action. I'm surprised they don't kind of give it a longer window. I'm not sure when they announced that they were going to close it, but I know it did close like July 29th or something like that, if I'm correct. Um, and I know I didn't hear about it until like almost around that time. So I'm surprised they don't give it like a longer window so people will buy more, because you would think that's
Right.
what they want. But I definitely think that like it gives people like a sense of urgency, like, okay, like I need to get this game like right now or I'm never going to see it again. Because the fact of the matter is, like, not a lot of people are collectors, and a lot of people aren't willing to like actually go out and look for games anymore, because people, I don't want to say they're getting lazy, but I mean people have like different preferences of how they want to play the games. A lot of people don't want to get up and put a disc in. So I mean, yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. What do you think, Rick?
Um, as far as FOMO goes, like, honestly, I don't know. I think it's maybe it's just all hype, dude. Like,
Yeah.
because it's like realistically, like when everybody was hyping up these 360 games, man, like I'm gonna give it away, but I'm gonna say I went to GameStop and like was like, hey, you got 360 games? And like a lot of these games that were going up in price, they just had at GameStop for like normal price. Like for cheap, and I just grabbed some of them. Like one that I grabbed that was notable was like the Jurassic Park game. It's already a $60-$70 game, and I picked it up for like $20 at GameStop. So like, and here's the thing, 360 is still easy to find, right?
Mhm.
Like it's not like finding like even older consoles like maybe NES or Super Nintendo out in the wild. 360 games are still going to be at every flea market, at every yard sale, at every GameStop. Like they're just everywhere. And a lot of normal people that aren't like collectors or like resellers, they don't know that their 360 games are going up in value. So they're still trading them into GameStop. They're still selling them at their yard sale for $1 a piece. Like, because it's still so fresh and so new. It's not like the Super Nintendo where it's like, oh, this is really old, this must be worth money. It's like, no, dude, 360 is like still kind of relevant. I can play most of these games on my Xbox Series X. So it's like,
Right.
There are a couple games that are going to stay high and be expensive. Every console has their rare games, right?
Yeah.
But like, for the most part, like right now, I feel like all this FOMO and everybody's like, I got to rush out and buy all the 360 games. It's kind of like artificially inflating the market. The market will eventually, like, the hype will die down. Nobody will care. anymore. That I don't think people even really care now. It just closed, and it's like nobody's talking about it really because it's done. It's over with. The YouTubers made their videos. We're moving on to the next thing, and like these prices will eventually come down. Some things will remain the same. Some things will get rarer and stay high, and then there will be, of course, the hidden gems. Right? People are going to come out with their videos and be like, these are the 360 games you didn't know about that are hidden gems, and like, you know, Metal Jesus will skyrocket some random shitty game to like $1 million. Just kidding. Love you, Jason. No, but we get a lot of blame for that, by the way. A lot of YouTubers get blamed for that. Like, oh, they talk about this game and then it's so expensive, none of us can get it. And it's like, yeah, but they're just telling us a good game. Like, I appreciate those videos because like those videos are dope because they're games that you would have never bought and heard of anyway. So why do you care if they made a video about it? But I think it's all FOMO. It's all the hype. Once the hype dies, the prices will start to settle out and get back to more normal.
Yeah. I don't see I don't know why it creates so much hype, honestly. Just because someone's saying, oh, this store's getting ready to close down or whatever. Like, okay.
Because
so you know what I mean?
Well, I think a lot of that probably has to do with like if you don't buy, you know, whatever, pick a 360 game that's not backwards compatible on the Xbox Series X, because there's quite a few, right? Yeah. Let's just say, you know, because there's like a couple thousand 360 games. Like the 360 library is bigger than the PS2. So like, let's just say, you know, there's only like, correct me if I'm wrong in chat or whoever, but I believe there's only about 400 games that are backwards compatible. Compare that to a couple thousand that are available. So if you didn't buy it digitally, dude, the only way you're playing that game is you got to go out and find a physical copy. And I think that's why, obviously, why the prices shoot up, right? Like, again, games like Fable that are on Game Pass will never go up in value. It's going to be a $5 game forever, right? But then that random JRPG that you didn't pick up on the store digitally, you can only get it physically. Now that game is an $80 game instead of a $10 game, because that's the only way you're going to be able to play it, because it was either delisted or it wasn't put on, it's not on the backwards compatibility list, and the only way you're going to play it is on 360, and that's it, right? And the same thing's going to go for the PS2 or PS3, and that it's going to go like that for every console forever until they stop making physical games. It's just how available is it to you? If you can't play it digitally, what are your options? Well, my options is I got to buy, if I can either emulate it or I can buy this $300 copy of this game. Like that's kind of your options. And I think that's why there's so much FOMO. And I think a lot of resellers hype that FOMO crap up, because it's like, you know, they want to inflate the market. They want to jump these prices up. Like this random racing game that was a $5 game forever is now a $250 game. Like something Inertia, I forget what it's called, but it was like a $10 game, and now it's like a $200-$300 game. It's like, why? Like, I would never buy that.
Speaking of that, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Who do you think is more responsible for FOMO? Content creators or resellers? My answer is resellers. Because all content creators do is talk about, oh, I think this game is cool. They're not saying the game should cost this much money, right? And maybe in certain instances, you may say, like, if it's like limited run, I know Jason got a lot of flack for that. What was that bird game or whatever? But it is limited run. So technically it wasn't lying. So it's only going to be a limited amount of copies. But all these other games that so-called, you know, go up in value, I think that's resellers doing that.
I think
they'll find a reason to justify it, but go ahead, AK.
Yeah, I think it's the sellers as well, because I mean, content creators are just going to find something to talk about. I think that's just part of them finding something to talk about. I think they're just trying to get as much money as they can, but kind of like Rex said, I think it's all going to equal out eventually. I think they can only do it for so long, especially I think the people who are like really dying to get the game, they're going to do it like pretty fast, I think. I don't think they're going to wait that long, because I'm sure people are going to be scared that like it's going to like sell out or something, or they're not going to be able to find it. But yeah, I think it's definitely the sellers. But
you know, honestly, there are some YouTubers that will openly admit, like, hey man, like I was partly responsible for that game shooting up in price, right? Like the bigger YouTubers, like Adam Korlick. Me and Adam Korlick have had a conversation where, you know, we talked about that, and he was like, there was one game I couldn't tell you, what exactly it was, but there was a game that he said that, you know, I was kind of responsible for this game that was like exclusive to something, and he like made a whole video about it, and it got like crazy views, and like the price shot up on it. I think it kind of goes one of two ways. Like, I think resellers who basically they cast their hook, right, and they see what bites, right? They buy a game, they put it on eBay, and they're like, I'm going to ask this much. And if one copy sells, then the next reseller sees that on eBay.
Mhm.
And they
Yeah.
go, oh, well, that copy sold for $60. So guess what?
Right.
Let me try to get 70. And
Mhm.
then that $70 copy sells because there's no other one out there on eBay. Then the next guy comes and goes, ooh, he got 70. I'm gonna try to get 90. And then that's where it starts. These resellers are like, I'm gonna get a little bit more, man. You give them an inch, they try to take a mile. They're like, I'm gonna sell it for more and more and more. And we're gonna see where this thing caps out, right? Till people just stop buying it.
Mhm.
But I also do think that YouTubers, like big prominent YouTubers like Scott the Woz or Metal Jesus or like guys like that, when they make videos and they get tens of millions of views, they do play a role, but it doesn't always affect the game. And that's what people don't realize. Like, there is one game that ended up being one of my favorite games ever. It is so damn good, for the PS3, Dragon's Crown by Vanillaware. It is, if you liked Odin Sphere or you like their new Unicorn whatever game that they just came out with, you'll love Dragon's Crown. It was originally on the PS3. I learned about it in a Metal Jesus video, and he talked it up like it was great. So I went out and bought it. The game's like a $15 game. His video didn't make that game shoot up, right? So like, I think it's like hit or miss, man. Like, who knows? Like, I think it's a combination, a little bit of everything: availability, resellers, YouTubers, how much hype is around the game, like, and when is it going to take off, right? Because it's like, do people care about hidden gems right now because it's still so fresh for the 360? Or are people going to care about that 5 or 10 years from now, when, you know what I mean? Like, when people are feeling nostalgic and want to go back and play the 360, it's a weird thing. But I wouldn't solely blame any one entity. I think it just plays a role of the availability of the game, content creators and resellers. But I think resellers play a big role because they play that eBay game where like they're trying to stretch every dollar.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it more on the resellers. I'm gonna say this because who's to say that resellers watch content creators all the time? That's number one.
Yeah.
So you know what I
Right.
mean? I don't care how much they talk about it. The common collector probably isn't a reseller like that to say, oh, he's talking about it. And who cares and it's not any disrespect to any of the other content creators, but who cares what they say? That doesn't mean because he says it's good, yeah, I'm gonna go sell it for this amount. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's people, resellers that do little things, because I feel like I've seen it on eBay where they will buy it from themselves just to say it's sold, because that's all it's going to take.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're going to do a search. Last one sold for this price. Same thing on Amazon. Last one sold for this price. So
Yeah.
that's what they're going to use, and they're going to use that to justify it.
I genuinely cannot believe people buy. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just welcome in White Ranger. Throwing up
What's
gang
up,
signs.
dude? Hey, did you drop a lung or what, man?
I dropped a whole lot of stuff.
I feel that.
Yeah, we had some Caribbean food real late night, and that junk was just having a
Hey.
parade inside my body.
Hey,
And wanted to get out. But
it's all
hey,
good.
everybody! Excuse my tardiness. Some things had to be handled, and they handled now. I'm glad to
You
see
look
we
like you
got
didn't
Bobby
wash your
Brown.
hands.
We got Bobby Brown up here hosting this today. It's nice to see you.
Thank you. And the newest addition to the upcoming retro podcast, Mr. I didn't wash my hands. Like he smelled his fingers.
Oh,
It's not great though.
Oh man,
Smells like unsanitary activity.
I do love Caribbean food though. Caribbean food is bomb, dude.
It is until it plays the steel drums inside your belly. But
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all good.
So Black Razors just joined us. Did you catch any of the conversation prior to?
Yeah, were you at least watching this on the toilet? I'm just wondering, like, you know.
No, because I didn't have my phone with YouTube on it in the bathroom.
Do you
I
have
have
another phone with YouTube on it? Like, you got.
I have multiple phones, but I don't have the app on. both.
First of
Don't-
all,
don't judge
that's a number 2 violation, bro. Like, who doesn't? I don't. If I go in the bathroom to go do a number 2, and I don't have my phone, I'm leaving out to go get it.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
I
just
had
saying it. Like I don't know nobody who ain't doing it.
I had a phone, just not the
What
one.
were you playing Snake from Nokia phone?
Yeah.
No, Minesweeper, of course. It's like not.
Fucking.
No,
Oh.
I didn't take it because I knew if I took it, that meant I would be in there longer, even though it was still
my.
quite a time.
That's kind of
So I
true.
was trying to cut back the time. So it all just
Speaking
filters
of which,
through.
we're gonna open up a fun conversation as we're talking about that. How many people have caught in cramps from sitting on the toilet way too long?
What? Who? Man,
I mean, it happens.
Not to me.
yeah.
Not
Bro,
me.
look, we're getting old, dude, because I've gotten cramps in the middle of the night just sleeping.
Yeah, I
Fucking
think everybody
fall,
goes toilet hole.
fall out of bed and shit. I can't get up. You know, I need life alert and shit. Like,
I almost caught a cramp right now just because y'all talking about it. My body felt that you were saying that. My shin literally just tightened up for no reason.
Nothing worse than a Charlie horse waking up to a Charlie horse.
for
Nothing.
no reason. You're
No
just laying
reason.
there minding your business, and it's
The
like, not,
worst.
I'm gonna mess you up today.
Yep. You got to
Yeah.
walk around the house, trying to stretch your leg out, stomp your leg, shake your leg.
The
You
wife's
stanky
like,
leg.
"You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be fine. I'm good."
It's one of those
good.
type of pains like, don't talk to me right now. Let it go away first.
For sure.
All right, so we were talking about we actually talking about who was more responsible as far as driving up prices of games, content creators or resellers, and I blame resellers more than I blame the content creator. What do you think about that, Black Ranger?
I do. I blame. I think both sides have some of the blame. However, I definitely do believe it's the resellers because they put it out there for those prices. Resellers are actually checking what resellers who aren't content creators, I'll say, are checking what these large content creators are talking about or what's big in gaming. And I'm like, all right, I know I can get more money for this now. There's stuff that even if it's like, oh, this isn't happening anymore, it's not even that big of a deal. It's not a good game. It's not even in low or high demand, but they just like, I'm gonna just put it out here for a high price and see if somebody gonna buy it. And they will. That even if you look at eBay and stuff like that, you'll have one that sold for $3.86, and then one that's like $49. Like, yeah, $50 is a normal price for a game back when we was growing up. But to go from $3 to $50 is crazy. And that's how I think the only thing that wasn't driven by like the reseller so much might have been like NCAA 14. That was a lot because they were not making the game anymore. And then the hype just kept getting more and more. They're going to come out with one next year, and they still didn't do one until this year. Like,
and have you seen the price of that, dude? It tanked.
It's
tanked.
I seen one on. I saw one on Marketplace for like $20. I was like, wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Like, if you didn't buy it for that high end price, you're good.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Speaking of that, like when games come back out, and I want to know how you guys feel about that as collectors. Like, this is a good topic that totally relates. But like, how do you feel about having an expensive or rare item in your collection, whether it's a game or a collectible or an amiibo, even like whatever it is, right? And you're like I got this game. It's a jewel in my collection. I love this thing. And then one of these companies, they come out and they remake it, and the price goes fucking down, dude. Like, how do you feel about that? Because it bothers me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am a big amiibo collector, specifically the Legend of Zelda amiibos, and I have every one, all like 29 of them, and I bought them when they came out. Right now, if you notice, if you go to GameStop or Target, they are slowly reprinting after all these years all of the Zelda and Mario amiibos that have not been available for years. And you look at all the Zelda amiibos and they're tanking in price because now you can get them all again and they're all reprints. And or like oh my goodness, the YouTube channel, God, I love them, Jen and Scott, the Canadians, friends with Mort. Anyway, they made
oh
my God,
Retro Rivals.
Yes, Retro
Yeah.
Rivals. I'm just like, it's early, guys. I just drew a blank. I love them. I've done a video
Shout
with
out
them.
to
They're great. And they had made a comment talking about like hot takes, and they had said one of their hot takes was, I want them to remake and remaster and put out every single game. And the two games that they specifically mentioned, and my heart sank, they were like, because Jen loves horror games, she's like, I want them to remake and remaster Kuon and Rule of Rose. And I'm like, no, you don't. I don't, because I just spent $1,000 on Kuon. And if some company like Limited Run releases that game, it will tank the value of that game. Like, please stay away from that one. So how do you feel about that
I'll go
as
first.
a collector?
Only reason, first, I wouldn't care, right? The only way I would care is if I bought it for a certain price, right? If I didn't, I bought, because I'm not that type of collector. I don't plan on selling any of my stuff, so it's here. It ain't going anywhere. Now, in your case, you spend that. Yeah, I might feel some type of way, but that that kind of comes with the game.
It
Like,
does.
because you never know. You have nobody in their wildest dreams, for one, thought college football was coming back because of EA Sports having the license rights to pretty much football to begin with, and then with the whole thing with the college players and stuff like that. I forgot what they call that system that they didn't pay through now, but like nobody saw that coming. So
Right.
you really can't predict it. So that's kind of come with part of the game, and it's like, okay, well, that sucks. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can't do, because even some of my Wii titles dropped in price, but it's just kind of like, I don't think about it. The way I view things is with anything in life, like once I spent the money on it, it's gone, bro. Like it's accounted for. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm a reseller. This I know what I have. That old saying, like, well, it doesn't matter. That money's gone. So if I've sold plenty of things in my collection where I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to get something for it, and I'm okay with that. Like
I've taken a hit.
Yeah, it's already paid already. Like,
but like
that money's gone.
These are them that I was talking about. They re-released the Wolf Link Twilight Princess one. They got Ganondorf here. Like, these two particular amiibos were from Smash Brothers on the Wii U. So that's how old and long ago these were. These were like the first line of like Zelda amiibos, like part of them, right? And I saw these in Target like a few weeks ago, and I'm like, no, why? But like, okay, so I bought every Zelda amiibo because I was a huge Breath of the Wild junkie. Like, and all of my Zelda amiibos are actually opened. Like, I play with them. I use them in Breath of the Wild to get all the cool special items, like, because I'm a super nerd. And like, I was the guy sitting there with 30 of them, scan. And then I would do like the little time jump glitch or whatever, and then scan them all again, because you can only scan them once a day. And I would just do it over and over with like 30 amiibos on my lap. And my wife is looking at me like, you're such a big kid, dude. Like, really? So like, the reason I bought these is because they're re-released, right? And I'm going to keep the re-released ones sealed. But like, I do play with the amiibos. Like, other than the re-released ones, I don't have a single amiibo that's sealed, because I actually play with them and I use them. But no, like, I could see companies like Limited Run, which I love what Limited Run does, guys. Like, I think that them and other companies like Super Rare and all them, I think those are great companies. I think that they really come out with some cool stuff. But there are certain games, just for me personally, please stay away from, because I did drop $1,000 at Kuon with French and Marcus there at SoCal.
Limited Run, please remake Kuon.
If they re-release Kuon
with extras,
yeah,
less.
Like, oh yeah, now you can buy Kuon remastered with a bunch of extra stuff for $50 or something. I'll die, dude. Like, because you know that $1,000 is gonna freaking tank, dude. But I could see them doing that, dude. Games like, because the PS2, that era is starting to become stupid popular, because now we're all like really nostalgic for the 6th and 7th generation. Dude, Limited Run and Super Rare, I could see them making a Rule of Rose, a Haunting Ground, a Kuon, like the really obscure, like weird ones, because they do that already. And they're starting to move into that generation where they're going to start picking apart those games. And I'm like, please don't. Because look, my wife about a year ago had bought me Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door on GameCube as a gift. It was like $120 game or $100 game. Well, the remake just came out for the Switch, and now it's a $60 game. Like, it literally cut the price in half just from the release of that game. So I mean, if you're a collector who doesn't sell your stuff all the time, you probably don't care. So I don't know.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts, Black Ranger?
I'll say, as the collector part of me does be like, hey, that would suck to see, because a part of the collection, one is being able to display everything and just having it look cool. Another part of it is to be able to look at the inventory and be like, it's worth this much, So to have that, take that big hit in the cut does suck, but it's also like, I don't collect houses, but I own one, and when the market crashes, I know it takes a big hit. So it's like the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
you buy with the intent of holding that value, but it can fluctuate. It can. And one thing I like about the re-releases or the remakes is it does give some of those people who didn't get the chance to originally have it or don't have the money to get it for that, that large price tag. It gives them a chance to get it. But I do say, if you're going to do it like limited run and literally make it a limited front of them, to where those people who did pay upwards of $900,000 for a piece of history aren't fully losing that value.
Can I give you a quick hot take though about that? Like, honestly, and this is going to sound, and it's only because I did buy a lot of these games. Some games are just going to be expensive, and some games are just unobtainable to people. And I'm sorry for your loss, but if you don't want to spend $1,000, then don't spend $1,000. You're just not going to play it or emulate it. Like, don't ruin it for collectors that did spend that much money. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I know that sounds salty as hell, and it is, but like,
Extremely.
I'm sorry. There's tens of thousands of games in this world. If you don't get to play Kuon, I'm sorry for your loss. Like, I'm sorry. Like, just emulate it. I don't know what to tell you. Like, there are just some games that are going to be expensive. That is the way it goes in the market. Like, I don't expect every game to be a $10 game for people to be able to afford. Like, that takes the fun out of collecting for me. I like the rare, expensive stuff.
I kind of agree.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, I do agree like a bit, but I mean, I think you buy stuff kind of though with the intent of knowing that it could go up and down. I think that's with anything, but there are some things where it's like, why are you re-releasing it? And if they are going to re-release it, add something to it. At least that's my opinion. I think if they're going to re-release it, add something to it to make it worth the re-release. Like, don't just re-release it and it's not any better than like the original one. I think if they're going to re-release it, add something or like give us something. I always just think of the definitive edition because that was such like so hyped up for it to be so bad. I know I bring it up so much, but it's like,
wait, which game? Which game?
The GTA definitive edition.
Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad.
Why did they re-release it? It doesn't make any sense.
They did fix it. They fixed it
barely. Well, I think they fixed the glitches, but I think it was still ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird looking.
That's the good thing about some of the stuff like the patches. So not necessarily digital games, but the fact that they can be corrected, with the help of online. Like, I can appreciate that. Like with Cyberpunk, I'm sure people were pissed because didn't they give money back to people for that game initially?
Yes, because when the game was released, the PlayStation 4 version was unplayable. It was so buggy and glitchy and ran like garbage that a lot of people got their money back on that one. It ran okay on the like PS5, and it ran okay, on PC. Like if you had a really beefy PC, but it was still buggy and glitchy as hell. So if you wanted your money back, they were giving people refunds until, if you were unhappy with the game, which a lot of people were.
Yeah. So I mean, that's cool. Like, but because your hot takes have sucked every episode, Michael,
yes, I
hoping
I understand
that they remake Kuon.
You know what? I hope your week collection falls down and you have to reorganize all of them.
They're not in alphabetical order. I don't care.
Look, let me give you an example, Marcus. And I know you don't agree with me and AK, but what I'm gonna say is this.
Don't pull her.
And I'm sorry, people in chat, but like what I was saying, there are certain things in gaming that are just going to be rare and expensive. And if it's unobtainable to you to play physically, I'm sorry. I would love to own a Nintendo NWC cart, but just because I would love to own it doesn't mean that I think it should be a $10 game either. It's like
It's
an
a bad example, 'cause
$80,000
that's not for
cartridge.
sale. It's not for sale.
There was one just sold recently.
Yeah, but what I mean is, it wasn't like, it wasn't an opportunity for people to buy.
Okay, I'm not
So,
an NES guy,
let's say stadium events. That's
okay.
fair.
And that's okay. It's a $30,000 game that me as a rational adult have come to terms with being okay never owning a physical copy. I will get over it. And the people that do own it, good for you. And I'm not going to sit here and cry and whine about, oh, well, games are so expensive and I'll never be able to play it physically. Emulate the thing, or just buy Track Meet or whatever the hell it's called, because it was a re-release. I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't feel like collectors, because when you're a collector of something, it doesn't have to be video games. It could be a comic book. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what if there's a really like Spider-Man issue #1 and somebody comes and cries like, well, I wish I could own that game for $10. Like, it's not fair, right? Like, okay, well, you should have bought it. Go buy it. Like, that doesn't mean that as a collector, something you're passionate about and you take pride in the value of your collection, you shouldn't tank the value of my stuff that I either worked hard for or paid for or was there at the beginning to get, because you want to own it. Like, I'm sorry, I'll never own a Spider-Man issue 1, and I'm okay with that. Like, if I want it, I'll go save and I'll buy it. Like, but that doesn't mean you should tank the value and tank the market so that everybody can afford it. Like, I just don't agree with that. Like, if you wanted Kuon, you should have bought Kuon or shell out the $1,000. I'm sorry. And I'm saying that because I did shell out $1,000. I also did trades for $700 Rule of Rose and $400 freaking Blood Will Tell and $400 Haunting Ground and $300 Futurama, because I'm a collector and that's what I'm passionate about. And if you tank my games to $10 a piece just because you feel like left out, I'm sorry. There's no participation trophy in this for you today. I'm sorry. I just don't have any sympathy. That's the part of collecting and being a hobbyist. Some things are just expensive. And like, that's what we strive for as collectors, is to have the stuff we really want. And like, I'm tired of people like, well, I feel left out. I'm never going to be able to afford it. Emulate it. Emulation's free. If all you care about is playing it, then just emulate it. You can emulate the hell out of Kuon. Trust me, I've done it. You could do it all day long.
Yeah, there's definitely ways.
So like, if that's all you care about is playing it, that's fine, dude. Like, I want people to play these games, but do I feel like you should tank the value of my collection because you want to own it physically? How much is that game worth?
I don't know, but it just says tank. That's all I'm trying to convey.
It looks like an obscure random game that would be expensive on the Wii U.
Tank the value.
Poor little tank.
All right, so speaking of which, I just wanted to pick on Rec wasn't there. Let's get into one of the funner parts of the podcast, show and tell.
Yay.
Everyone bring their items to show and tell. I gotta run and get one. I kind of forget.
I wasn't on last week, so like, I'm like, have old man brain where I'm like, did I show this off already at the last one I was on? Like, I was just trying to remember what the heck but yeah, I got my stuff.
All right, AK, you want to start it off?
Yeah, I'll show. I only have like a couple things. First I have Dead Island for PS3. I have that pickup, and then I have. Well, this game is kind of big to me because I grew up playing all of them. But SSX on tour for the PSP.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I've been starting to get more PSP games, so I'm really excited to see that.
Which SSX is your favorite, AK?
Tricky.
I love Tricky.
I love Tricky.
A lot of people swear by SSX 3, and I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I'm a Tricky guy all the way.
Yeah, it's so fun. Like the whole game is so fun to me. I love SSX.
So good.
All right, Mr. Rec Wizard.
Okay,
AK, are you done? AK?
Yeah, I'm done. I only had a couple.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
So I'll go through these quick. You guys know I'm going for the full PS2 set. So I got these. I guess you would say these are the most recent. I don't remember if I showed these three. I got Persona 4 with the bonus disc. I got Valkyrie Profile 2, another RPG. We got Wild Arms 3. And then these games here, a buddy of mine is a manager of a GameStop, has been forever, and he's a big collector. And these were some of his doubles that he like offered to me. It was like, hey, dude, these are the doubles, you want them? We got Crash Nitro Kart Racing. We've got this one. I'm excited. I love old fighting games. Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. It comes with all the Alpha games. Alpha, 1, 2, 2 Gold, 3, and Gem Fighter. So then we got this one, Beyond Good and Evil.
Okay.
We got Ace Combat 5. And then we got Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm sure some of you saw the video, I got this cool promotional box from Lionsgate Studio. They are making the Borderlands movie that comes out August 9th. And they reached out to me and they were like, can we send you a promo box? Would you do a video promoting the movie?
Very
and
nice.
I thought that was really cool. I had no idea that they would reach out to me. Like, that was really dope. So that it came with this cool Borderlands hat. We got some free movie tickets for me and my wife to go see the movie. We got this cool promotional pin. Then we got a Claptrap keychain. We got these Borderlands bunny ears. Say Borderlands on one of the ears. And lastly is this really cool tie-dye Borderlands shirt.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, no, that was really dope, dude. Like that they sent me that made me really happy. So yeah, but those are all my pickups for the week. I didn't even know that there was going to be a Borderlands movie just because I don't watch a whole bunch of TV and stuff, and it's one that it flew under my radar. But when they sent that to me, I watched the trailer and I'm like super stoked for it because I like a lot of the actors and actresses that are in the movie. So really excited to go see that movie with my wife and have a little date day, compliments of Lionsgate Studio, which is pretty dope to me. Like, I thought that was so good. That's never happened to me, dude. Like, kind of like you with Nintendo, like Lionsgate Studio reached out to me and wanted me to promote this. Like, just like Nintendo was like, hey, here's a game. We want you to promote our game. Like, that's dope, dude. Like, as creators like us, like starting from the bottom and trying to build something here, when companies like that reach out to you and they're like, hey, here's free stuff. Will you promote us? I'm like, that's really, that's cool to us. Like, hell yeah, I will. Like, what are you going to say? No, Nintendo, like, take your game back. Like, dude, that's dope. Like,
I don't want it.
Awesome.
Like, no, I already bought it physically. I'm good. Like, no, dude, like, this is dope. Like, I'm sorry. And by the way, like, I watched your video. Congratulations again, by the way, for that. Cause I know how much that means to you. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big thing. Like, when Nintendo reaches out to you, because I had comments when I made the Borderlands video, they were like, oh, well, where did you sign up to get that stuff? I'm like, I didn't. They reached out to me. And I'm like, you know, like, it feels good as a creator. It feels like the work that you guys put in, it matters. It means something when a company is like, hey, promote my controller, do a review on my game, like whatever it is. It's like, it's kind of like why we do this, right? Like, for like some type of recognition, and because we love it, you know, for our audience, our viewers, and to get some type of like, you know, perks to it, right? Like, you know, getting the free stuff to review and you know, so I just wanted to share that because that was like really cool that they sent me that, and I thought it was just neat.
Yeah, awesome.
That was awesome. Black Ranger, gonna show off your Dora the Explorer headphones?
They're not Dora the Explorer. I forgot the name of the movie, but it's.
Oh, that looked like Dora.
Oh, Encanto.
Oh, Encanto. Yeah, Encanto.
I love that movie, dude. We don't talk about Bruno, bro.
That's my favorite.
I'm not gonna lie. I still haven't watched the full movie. Don't judge me. Mainly because I'm watching them by myself because my daughter doesn't pay attention to any of this. But you know, I've seen all the rest of them. So, but as far as my pickups, I have this large stack of stuff right here, and it's all from the wonderful Video Games Monthly, which you can see in my video from last week. But as far as some of the more notable ones,
we saw it already.
You watch your dirty mouth. It's like, but as far as some of the more notable ones, or in terms of value, got WCW Backstage Assault, which isn't really that great of a wrestling game, even though the N64 has the greatest wrestling games ever. WCW Nitro, which is a little more decent, and surprising the amount of value for the NBA Hang Time. You know, I was surprised when I saw how much that was worth, but got the
Is that David Robinson on the cover?
Yeah, it's like
Admiral. The
yeah.
Admiral.
And then for Mike's favorite system,
Okay.
as far as more notable one, we've
The
got a
Dreamcast?
complete copy of Rippin' Riders for the Sega Dreamcast. You knew it. You already knew.
Man.
And just going
Don't get 'em
along with
started.
the NCAA, we've got NFL 2K1.
Goat.
Some of the greatest
Goat.
sports games
Goat.
were the 2K series of all of them. NBA, NFL, all that. They were dope. And then, surprising in value, I pretty much have this for every console at this point. Namco Museum. I definitely didn't know. I didn't know this one was actually worth more than like $5, but it's worth almost like $16, $17, which is kind of surprising. But yeah, Namco Museum, because for every other system, it's like $5. So yeah, that's all. But you can see the rest of that whole stack because it's 4 months worth of video games monthly, my bad, in one video.
Now, I
Okay,
will
great.
say I do own one Dreamcast game. And the reason I own it, it's got you're showing sports games. My favorite athlete of all time on this planet. I will buy every copy and version of this game because my boy Allen Iverson is on the cover and was the face of NBA 2K for years. And he is the greatest ever. There's a reason why his name is The Answer. He is my idol.
All
I
right.
love this dude.
We ain't even doing hot takes because that was a hot take.
Allen,
You okay this morning?
Wait, hold on.
You
Hold on,
all right?
dude.
You all right?
Who you like more
Are
than
you okay?
Iverson? Who do you like more than Iverson? Let me hear it.
That's why you glitching. That's why you glitching. Talking in
Bro, don't hate on
We ain't
AI.
even-
Don't you start on on Philly, bro.
We had part of this conversation in the parking garage. So you know who he likes.
Yeah, we did.
I know,
That's
I
SoCal.
know.
Yes, we did.
And we
Yeah.
did have that talk like out in the parking lot drinking.
We did. Yeah.
That was full of hot takes. That whole conversation.
Whole conversation was hot takes.
Oh man.
All right, so I guess it's my turn for pickups. So firstly, I want to show my Nintendo World Championship NES edition. This is
Wait,
my
blow
sealed
yourself
one.
up. Blow yourself up
Blow
so we
my
can
s-
see.
I'm
No,
already
you
blowing
know what I
up,
mean.
bro.
Like make your screen bigger so we can see.
I know. All right, so this is my sealed copy of NES World Championships, and Nintendo sent me the digital copy. Shout out to Nintendo. Thank you. Goats. Then this came in. Get platinum points. This is now sold out. So this is special. Nintendo World Championship NES edition you had to use platinum points on your Nintendo account to get these, and now they're sold out. So
Those
I
are
don't
going to be
think
worth
I'll-
money.
yeah, I am not wearing this ever again. I'm probably gonna put it in this bag. Actually,
Yeah, as soon as it's
Seal
sold
it
out,
up.
I sold it online for $140.
Yeah,
Shut up.
It's gonna.
That's
be
true
worth
though.
money.
It was already they're already selling for like $100-something. I got this in a couple weeks ago. I don't think I showed it. I ordered this actually from Limited Run a few months ago. Rocket Knight Adventures Respark. I haven't even opened it yet, but I was excited to get this. I think I got 3 games on there, and this is a fantastic game that was on the Genesis. I believe they were Sega titles, so I'm super excited to have this. This game is super fun. I did play that, and last but not least, my I want to show tell is my tattoo.
Oh,
See that? Mario. It's in black and gray because I'm black and the color's not gonna look great. So hope y'all can see that. So yeah, that's my show and tell. I'm branded for life. Nintendo. So yeah, those are my pickups from this week. So
Hey, can I say something, dude?
Sure.
I hope that in 5 or 10 years, Nintendo re-releases that hat so yours ain't worth anything. No, I
didn't-
kidding.
I didn't pay for it, so I don't care. That'll still be the original. Like Nintendo just holds weight like that. So.
Yeah.
You'll
So, do we want to give hot takes real quick? Hot take of the week. Hot take of the week.
You know what? For now on, after this episode, moving forward, chat, we are doing hot takes at the beginning of the episode. I don't like ending the episode on a bad note
Yeah, but
because
you
I
don't
know
want
you
you
gonna
don't
say something crazy.
you don't want to.
But
But here's the thing:
you
don't wanna
already started it.
You don't want to
Yeah,
start
I
it off on a
think-
bad note because if you start the podcast on a bad note, people just leave. so you want to keep them in the chair till the
Well,
end and then hit them.
I guess you got a point there.
I'll go
I'll
last.
take it.
I'll go last. You
Touche.
guys go ahead and go.
Okay, French, you got one?
Yeah, I say this all the time, but for me, my hot take, and I don't care how anybody else feels, as a collector going for a system that's they're no longer making games for, really, I don't care. Emulation is the same as buying repros, and I'm saying it. There we go. That's my hot take.
I kind of agree.
Just for the sake on the record.
No
Video game voting
disclaimer.
does not-
Everybody feels this way. It's like, nah.
Video game voting does not condone emulation
What?
by the real version.
Is your Steam Deck behind you?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's Wii U. The real one. Nintendo. AK, what's your hot take?
All right. Yeah, mine is kind of random. But I just wanted to say I think video game companies overdo the zombie games way too much, and I think more companies need to be original. I think, and I just say this, let me give a quick backstory because I took game design classes, and one of the assignments was to come up with, an original concept for a game. Over half the class made zombie games, and it's just a show because that's what's coming out so much nowadays. Like, so many companies are putting out zombie games. We have The Last of Us, we do have the Dead Island, we have I don't know, there's a lot of them. I think just game companies need to be more creative with this concept of like the dead coming back to life. That's my hot take.
All right. I don't really have one. I guess my hot take is I don't care that the 360 stores shut down. I don't care.
For me, honestly, dude, I thought like the only reason why like I cared a little bit was not because like, oh my God, I need to buy digital games. It was like, damn, dude, I want to go through real quick and try to snatch up the ones I actually want to play before they get too expensive and like I missed the train. You know what I mean? Like there's certain ones like I really wanted like to just actually play a lot of the RPGs. But all right, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of AK's hot take because this was one that I've been thinking about a lot lately because I'm a big horror game fan. But like I grew up, in the era of like, traditional survival horror games of like the Resident Evils, the Silent Hills, the Clock Towers, Fatal Frames, right? I am so tired of the modern day horror game being first person jump scares. Like that's all it is. Like take me back to the era of like third person, really good story, really good environments. Like another hot take real quick that piggybacks on that. I am not a big fan of the first person Resident Evil games 7 and 8 because it's, to me, it feels like you're playing a game like Outlast or something or Amnesia or whatever. It's not a Resident Evil game. Like they're good games. They're fun in their own right, but just call them something else. Like survival horror to me are the Silent Hills, the original Resident Evils, the Fatal Frames, the Clock Towers. And like, if anybody ever if you like that genre of games and you ever want to play a new modern game that pays homage to that, check out Tormented Souls on the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch, because that brings back the tank controls, the weird camera angles, great story, super beautiful game to look at. And you can play it on PS5 because they are releasing Tormented Souls 2 this year, I believe in September or October. But I miss the traditional survival horror. I'm tired of every horror game coming out now being like made because you can make TikTok clips out of it, right? With the jump scares and all that. Like jump scares are fine, dude. Like I get it. But yeah, no, I miss the traditional survival horror. I'm tired of like the copy and paste jump scare first person horror game.
All right, so we are at our hour mark, so we are going to end today's episode. It's a great episode. So we're going to go around the podcast, let everybody know where to reach you, starting with Mr. Black Ranger.
Hey, everybody. You can follow me on all my socials at Black Ranger, BLAKRANGER, no C. YouTube, Instagram, X, as they say, and Facebook. I'm just French. But I'll be there.
And at a laboratory near you, AK Games.
Yeah, you can find me at AK Games down here at the corner, spelled just like that. I'll be doing some before you buys coming up. I'm really excited about that. And I probably will be talking more about the Game Informer stuff happening because that's really near and dear to me. So I really want to touch on that. So yeah, you can find me there on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Mr. Wizard.
Same. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, everywhere. I'm everywhere. I have some ideas for videos for the PlayStation 2 Pursuit series that I'm doing, going for the full set. I'm trying to make or come up with ideas for that series that aren't just me buying the games, but actually talking about a lot of the games and the historical relevance behind them, like why is Kuon $1,000, things like that. I also have some other videos planned that aren't PlayStation related, as far as like the 360, and I'll just be working on those things. So yeah, you can find me on all my typical socials. I post pretty much daily on almost everything. So
And you guys can find me at Video Game Votary. And yeah, that's gonna do it. So until next week, you guys stay safe, love on your family, love each other, and keep gaming.
Bye, guys.
bye guys, see you next Sunday. Bye, have a wonderful time.